the panel discussion. We request all the parents to join the kids. This is going to be a panel discussion where we talk about how the preschooling is going to be for this coming academic year. And now we invite each of the guests. So first is Shalini Jaiswal ma'am. So Shalini Jaiswal ma'am has been an educator for more than 20 years. She has been a teacher, administrator, and a consultant for various education companies and helped them develop programs for different age groups. Shalini ma'am is currently the academic director at Maple Bear South Asia. She is part of academic advisory committee and a curriculum committee of global schools. She is responsible of implementation of Maple Bear program, which includes teacher training and quality assurance in all the Maple Bear schools in South Asia region. She is also responsible for developing and implementing the ECE teacher training program in India. We welcome you, ma'am. We also have Aarti Mohan ma'am. Aarti Mohan ma'am, she's an educationist. She's a trained teacher by profession. She is taught in multiple regular schools and then switched to early childcare. So she has experience of more than 25 years into education and in early education itself. She's been associated with IPSA since its inception. IPSA has more than 70 centers across the country. So we welcome Aarti ma'am. We also have Kani Zahra ma'am with us. So she's an expert in early childhood education and development and comes with an experience of more than 15 years in this domain. She comes from a rich classroom experience and has designed classroom strategies for preschool learners. She strongly believes in what is right for the child, to give child a safe and secure environment for a happy learning experience. She has worked on curriculum designing and giving academic solutions to the reputed chain of preschools. As an academic operations lead at First Cry IntelliTots, she heads the academic execution and teacher training across the Coco and franchisee network. We welcome Kaniz ma'am. Anu, I request you to unmute each one of them. And we also have Rathore sir, who will be joining us in another 5 minutes. So Rathore sir, he is PhD and MSc and MPhil in physics and MBA in marketing. He started his first preschool way back in 1999, and his in-depth research on earlier education inspired him to adopt the UK concept of preschool education. He is decorated with the Entrepreneurship of the Year award for his contribution in the field of education and awarded as the most successful educationist in early childhood education. So he will be joining us in another 5 minutes. So I welcome all of you to this stage where we would be discussing about preschooling, how this year is going to be for everyone. And we look forward for all the thoughts that we're going to get in this session. So I just want to welcome everyone, and just maybe for a minute, you guys can just introduce yourself or talk or just say hi to everyone. So we start with Shalini ma'am.
Hi, thank you Gaurav for inviting us here, and I'm happy to be a part of such a panel where we would talk about, and I was there since quite some time and loved watching the energy the kids had and the various sessions. So I'm looking forward to a fruitful discussion today.
Yes. Aarti ma'am, can you say a couple?
Yes. Good evening, everybody. I'm Aarti, and it was really nice, Gaurav. I too was there watching the children enjoying themselves. I too felt like dancing, and looking forward to this session. It's a real breather in these times to be meeting people and children as well.
Thank you. After you, Kaniz ma'am.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. It's really an honor to share this platform with such eminent personalities, Shalini ji, Aarti ji, and we're also looking forward for Rathore ji to join in there. And I'm really looking forward for this discussion. And I should really appreciate, Gaurav, the initiative that Go Alpha has been doing, because today, when children are all, having that limited time of, the play time, and with your initiative and so much fun in that closed, room or the confined space, that's something really wonderful what Go Alpha is doing. So a really pleasure to join you here. Thank you so much, and all the best to you.
Yes, we all are looking forward to this. So maybe we can just start with the discussion now. And so this has been a very difficult year for all of us. Let's just put it there. And going forward, so I would start with the question, of what do you guys think, when are the kids coming back to schools, especially after this whole second wave has now hit us, which no one was, I was looking, seeing it coming. Now I would want to understand, what do you guys think? When would we be coming back to school? When the kids will be coming back to school? So Aarti ma'am, if you can share your thoughts on this.
Yeah, thanks, Gaurav. Seeing the trend, that is going on, I think not before next year. I feel that, the parents and the children have to be safe first, and the wave that is going on right now is going to be a little tough for all of us to bear. So I think not before next year. I would say maybe January. But if you look at it in North India, I would say it will go up till about March. Because again, January is a cold month, and nobody's really going to set out, So according to me, I feel January 22.
Yes. So practically no classes on here. Shalini ma'am,
I truly, I think Aarti ma'am was saying something, but I truly agree. We don't think so. We would have offline classes this year with seeing the way the current second wave hit us. We were not prepared at all. And every house has gone through some falling ill due to COVID and, the struggles they faced. Children are a high risk. They are at high risk, and the age group which this time was caught was much, much younger. And going forward, the third wave, which will be, hitting probably the children. I don't think so. The parents would want to there's so much of infection, which we've just been able to kind of get a little control in the various states it has hit, but still it's not gone. And learning, which is a safer option and which is a better option for the children. I agree to that.
Absolutely. Okay.
Completely.
So I think it's going to remain online. And last year there was a lot of confusion. He'll come back offline maybe in 3 months' time. Initially, people were predicting August, then it went to October. I think this year it is going to be online. Is something that we can finalize on. That being said, we have a lot of preschool principals here who has joined us today. And now there is a lot of confusion going on for everyone, because half of the kids, they attended school last year because it went on in waiting itself. It will come, there will be a time when we'll start offline, then we'll send us school. It's fine if he doesn't do it for, 2-3 months later, and they maybe miss out this year entirely. Then there are some kids who have done some amount of online schooling, half a year or full year with some of the schools. And now it's going to be a mix of all of it. So for a preschool to really get this mixture of crowd together, how will they handle this? So I would want to raise this question, and maybe Shalini ma'am, you can start with, what do you think of how the preschool can really do something about this with this mixture?
See, last year we all were not prepared. We were gearing up for a new academic year with children coming and ready to welcome. And it caught us unawares. And frankly speaking, all of us had to innovate, improvise, and get online. A lot of schools, I would say everyone experimented, tried out a lot of things, and parents were apprehensive of screen time, how the child would be engaged. They thought it's better to let the child be homeschooled for a certain time and wait until we send them back to school. We were very positive that by August, September, things would be fine and our children will be back in school. And as we moved further down, we realized that this pandemic is going to stay for a long time and it's not going to go so easily. And by then, learning is important. Children need that space to be with their friends. It's not only about learning, but it's also connecting with their friends online, having that social interaction, meeting the children, talking to them, and basically enjoying fun, having fun with their own classmates is very. It also, schools were able to innovate. The teachers became they became friendly with technology. They realized what works with online classes. We realized what doesn't work. How do we engage a child who's just 3 or 4 year olds? It has to be all, hands-on. It has to be activity oriented. You can't sit and just teach the child. There has to be movement. There has to be music. There has to be songs. The teacher has to be energetic. The teacher has to be innovative to attract the attention of the children. The parents started becoming comfortable. They started, and when they realized things have to work, it's working both ways. And this year, there will be some children who come to school who've been homeschooled throughout. There have been some children who've joined online classes for a while. There may be some children who've been homeschooled beautifully and they know much more than they expected to for their grade level. There will be some gaps. Even when we've done online classes, definitely it cannot be as when the child comes to school. And when the children come to school this year, we have to be very conscious about those things. We have to make sure that we go a little back, make sure where the child is. The teacher understands what the child knows. And when I talk about knowing, it's just not knowing, it's understanding and being able to use that knowledge. Do I understand that? And then move forward, customizing instructions when there is a need. For maybe individuals where we give them extra support if the child is, either ways, if the child is a gifted learner or child needs an extra support. But it's not the rush to finish everything, but it's to take care of a holistic development of the child, making sure the child is emotionally taken care of, is engaged physically, and is motivated to learn. The way these two sessions happened, I saw Santosh doing the session on, with the puppet on ventriloquism, and then I saw the Go Alpha session. Children thoroughly enjoyed. They were glued and they were actually responding. The reason is because they enjoy doing those things. And learning will happen when we use these kind of methodology and we make sure it's age appropriate and we are able to kind of fill those learning gaps which have been there. Last year, when we had children, the children had attended a full year of school on site. So when we moved online, the foundation of the child was there. When I talk about junior kindergarten and senior kindergarten, this year the children have come to us with 1 year of online learning. So as preschools, we have to remember it would be a little different. We will have to customize our curriculum. We would have to customize our program, keeping in mind these children have been just virtual learners. And I would say, at least I can say that no school can say there is 100% learning virtually. Holistic development, there is something which may not have happened. And that's what in schools we'll have to be conscious about. We'll have to be very, very careful with children to take it forward this year, helping teachers understand to bridge those learning gaps, to be able to take care of those things so that they have a strong foundation to study further. We will go offline next year. Children will come back to school, and that's the time we can take them further. But this is the time we have to consciously, it should not be a race towards, okay, I will teach this, and parents are believing, oh, that school has a bigger curriculum. It is a race. It has to be a joint effort to build a strong foundation for our children. These children are our future. And that's what we have to be very conscious that we're building a strong foundation and just not kind of ticking off various things that, oh, I've done these learning outcomes and I've finished. And actually the child is struggling at a later stage. So that's what I feel we need to be very, very conscious this year and take children accordingly and be open to differentiating instructions as the need of the hour with the children, either ways, whether we make it simple or make it challenging. The whole thing is the child has to be engaged. The child should be happy and just not blindly looking at the screen, but actually interacting with the classmates in that virtual class and with the teacher. A healthy discussion, hands-on activities, and it has to be a two-way communication.
Right. So we have to ensure, so we welcome Rathore sir for joining the panel discussion.
Thank you, Gaurav.
Yes. Yes, sir. So now coming from Shalini ma'am's point that we have to engage all the kids and ensure that there is a holistic learning for the kids. On this, I just want to check with Kaniz ma'am if she has something to add here of how we can engage the kids in a right format and how we can involve all the kids together.
Right, taking away from what Shalini ji just spoke, Gaurav, yes, schooling has moved. When we started off the last academic year and the wave just, the pandemic hit so hard, and as educators, as parents, as the entire ecosystem around the child was confused. Now, how do I deal with how do I ensure that my child's learning doesn't stop? But the surprising part over the year that I'm sure each one of you would agree to it also was children adapted it to so comfortably. I mean, I still remember the time wherein teachers were like, ma'am, I don't think my children would sit on screen. There were parents who came back and said, nahi, mera bacha nahi baithega, my child is not going to sit on screen. And surprisingly, over a few weeks, we all realized and we all seen that how beautifully the child was engaging with with the teacher, with the friends. There were instances where they were waiting for the next day morning to see, my teacher's going to be there on screen, I got to be prepared with this, I got to be and this actually surprised everyone around the child, even including the parents, even the educators, to a time, because we deal with children who are as young as 3-year-old, 4-year-old, and we never knew how so comfortably they would handle a laptop and a gadget to mute, unmute, talk and share a screen. And this was something which we never predicted or assumed that the child would do. However, there has always been a constant need that we've seen in children is that you keep them engaged. Now, how do you keep them engaged? You see, school today or learning today is split equally. It's just not the teacher's responsibility, but also the parents' responsibility. Parents today understand the fact that, all this while, it was a conception that, okay, my child goes to the school and learns everything and comes back. But today they understand the fact that how much of my partnership is required in this learning process, in this entire development of the child. Like Shalini ji rightly said, it's not about, teaching letters, numbers, ticking it off, concepts over there, saying that, bacha ye seekh chuka hai, and then we move ahead. Because in this early years, we understand that every little experience, we all understand the fact that, more than 90% of the development happens in this, in this age. And every little experience that the child is, experiencing around is learning a new skill. So it's very critical, to first create this awareness that, a lot of parents and a lot of, there are a lot of parents yet still we see that are confused, I don't think the online works or the virtual works. But today the fact they all understand that if my child is not engaged for a few days or maybe a few, few weeks on a constructed and an organized, structured learning approach, has some kind of challenges, behavior challenges, learning challenges. So, they all understand the fact that, yes, now I have to really ensure that I reach out to experts and or probably partner with experts to ensure my child's development and learning doesn't stop. So, yes, I mean, today there's a lot of awareness. Equally the fact that, our teachers who are fantastic teachers in campus, in class, jumping around, suddenly find, ma'am, I got to sit in front of a screen and do something when I was so used to teaching a rhyme, dancing around, So, but eventually they all have learned to use, different video aids, different props to ensure that, you can still dance sitting in front of the screen. And you see beautifully children, interacting so very well. So I think we all have settled down to this, what we keep hearing everywhere saying, this is the new normal. So that's, I think, as adults, as educators, as parents, we have a lot of apprehensions, but believe me, children have so beautifully adapted to it, and they're learning a lot of skills which we never expected. Be very social emotional skills, which were like, how the child is not going out, meeting friends. So how is that going to happen? But today you see children wait for their friends to come on screen, wait for, to meet people on screen. So that's that's really beautiful, which is happening today in preschool segment.
Right. I think the entire thing is coming. Everyone has now really accepted the new norm. Even the kids are reacting to it and things like this. The parents will come around. That will happen. But now that brings us to a very interesting question. Of a lot of schools are now doing this virtual schooling. Everyone is around. So when you are doing it physically, it was very clear to stand out. There were a few things that you could do. But in the virtual space, how is it that you would stand out? Like there are a lot of preschool principals also who was tuned in. They would want to understand this. How does your preschool will stand out? So maybe Rathod sir, would you want to add something here of how would you make your preschool stand out in these times?
Yeah, thank you so much, Gaurav, for organizing such a beautiful event and inviting me. And I am so glad to hear all the panelists before me. So, Gaurav, I first wanted to say I have objection about the word new normal, because in every webinar I am listening for last 1 year, new normal. What is new normal? Because this pandemic is not going to stay for the lifelong. Maybe in another 2 months, 3 months time, we have to come to normal. So new normal is nothing, because this is our mindset how to take the challenges. This is our mindset, whether we are educators or the parents, to take up the things, because these kind of situations will come and go. But our children, our educators, our education will continue as it is. I tell you, yes, the last 1.5 years almost was very tough for people of Delhi NCR, because for first 3 months there was riots in the Delhi and then the pandemic started. So for the whole country, the pandemic is for 1.25 years now, but for Delhi NCR people, the pandemic was for 1.5 years, because 3 months I have added for the Delhi riots. One thing. Second thing, this is our responsibility as educators. This is our responsibility as parents. This is our responsibility as the, maybe we can say the senior people in the education sector, to find out the way how to continue the learning, not education. I'm not talking about the education, because the children we are catering need not any education. They need the learning basically. Education will start from the class 1 only. So how to continue their learning in the constructive way without disturbing anybody's schedule, their parents' schedule or their on schedule. We should continue their learning. One thing. Second thing, if I talk about the early learning space, no education sector, no educator, no preschool, no one was ready to take this challenge when the pandemic started. But I salute all the teachers. They find out their own ways. All the educators, all the senior people sitting on the panel, they did their best and started their learning on time. And I tell you, the actual learning happens during these days, because हम लोग जो स्कूल में करते हैं, प्री स्कूल में हम उनको पढ़ाते हैं प्रैक्टिकली. जितने भी प्ले स्कूल्स हैं, चाहे वो स्टैनफोर्ड है, चाहे कोई भी प्ले स्कूल्स है, हम एक उनको लर्निंग के साथ साथ हम उनको पढ़ाते भी हैं. लेकिन जो एक्चुअल एक्सपीरियंस, व्हाट वी से एक्सपीरियंसर लर्निंग, इट हैपेंस एट होम ओनली. And this was the time when the parent, there are two kinds of parent even in these times also. The parents who, mother and father both were in the IT sector or any other sector where they are busy on their laptop for the whole day. They didn't take care of the child education and the other things. And they're the parent, husband is working and wife is taking care of the child. In that case, the experiential learning, actual experiential learning happened with the help of the schools, guiding the parent, and they are actually implementing at their home. So I tell you one thing, I have seen in last 15 years, I am into this field for more than 21 years now. In last 15 years, I have never seen the parents so closer to the child, so closer to the teachers. Always the duty of the parents were to blame the teachers only, to blame the school. So I tell you,
This
Yeah,
point we
please.
are going to touch just going forward, where we are going to say how the parents have now really become integral part of the education altogether.
I'm coming to that. So what I feel and what I understand in last 1.25 years, maybe in another 3 months of the time or 6 months of the time, the situation will come closer to normal. Normal तो नहीं आएगी अभी इतनी जल्दी, but closer to normal when the government will allow to reopen the preschools or primary schools. In that case, I'm sure the parent will come as humble people and they'll appreciate the work of the school, what all the people sitting on the panel have done for their children, basically. So now they have actually realized what kind of hard work teachers put in the learning of the children. So I think the role of parent will be constructive whenever the school will reopen. They will help the teacher, they will help the school in the grooming of the children. Rather, their complaint will reduce like anything, I believe. And the job of the teacher will become more productive. That is my thought.
Absolutely. These are difficult times. So, which gives to the question again, I'm just coming to the question of how does a preschool now stand out when everything is going virtual? So Aarti ma'am, can you just add some points over here of how can a preschool stand out from its competition, or what kind will increase the quality for it?
Gaurav, what happens is that to stand out is something that you really don't do, If you are a preschool, you stay connected, you stay committed to early childcare. So you have made that connect with the parents and you don't give it up. See, last year was a tough year, and I agree to what all has been said by the other panelists before me. But it was a tough year and we learned a lot. Teachers, they came out of their comfort zone. Most of them were not, so tech savvy, They learned all the new things, And we stayed whatever little we could do. I think all of us, who have stayed in this field, we try to stay connected with early childcare. We try to, we try to get the parents, to come out and speak to us. It was not only about education, it was also about the well-being of the family, of the child. So, a parent also needed that comfort of somebody who knew their child, because children were coming to schools, So the teachers, they had a connect. And IPSA being a daycare, more on the daycare lines, we had a real connect with the parents. The children would eat over here. We had a lot of, you could say, concern coming from parents. See, my child is not eating, he used to eat so well. Now he's not eating. Ma'am, please come on the phone, talk to my child. They would come to the virtual learning just to see the teacher. So to stay connected, to stay committed is something that needs to be done for the virtual learning. You can't just keep on phasing in and phasing out. And I truly agree with Mr. Rathod about saying that let's not make this the new normal. We want the children to come back. They have to come and learn to be in a society, to be in a community, to learn together, to play together, to touch each other, to negotiate, to share, do so many things together. After all, that's what is going to take them further in life. And by standing out, I mean, this also gave us time to train ourselves, to train our teachers. We kind of started making new norms. SOPs were made to tackle this situation, to give some guidelines, making small videos about how to, of course, there's a lot on YouTube, there's a lot on the net, there's a lot, and parents are, of course, going to, see all these things online. But coming from a teacher, coming from a child's mentor makes a lot of difference. The child connects to that person. So that we want to stay connected. We introduced new sessions, maybe story sessions, maybe, having activities, having some kind of events, celebrating festivals. All that was done online. Despite all the, you could say the sadness going around, after all, as we just shared that, were undergoing stress, people falling sick, people losing some family members, So the mother or the father were not in that frame of mind. But then the learning must go on. It shouldn't stop. And learning is everywhere. Even coming and sitting in front of the screen for 30 minutes, understanding new nuances of the screen time, that's also learning. So that's what we feel, that the
Right.
main thing is how to stay connected and committed to early childcare.
I think that is very beautifully said. Very beautiful, very beautifully put, Aarti ma'am. I really appreciate this. Staying connected. I thought it's not about standing out. It's more of staying connected. Kaneera, would you want to add something to this?
No, I think it was just my my heart spoken out by RTG over there, because just a line over there to add, it's rightly she said, it's not standing out but rather standing with and along, so that's very important today, because
Yes.
understanding the parent, understanding what they are dealing with, the child, because just not the adults but the child is also going through all of that, so it's standing together is more important today.
Right. And I think the learning has to go on, not just like Rathore sir was saying, not just about education, but the learning has to go on.
Absolutely.
So in order to make it a little more interesting, now I think more than ever, there is more requirement of, some extracurricular activities to happen at the preschool itself. So it can be something like, dance, yoga, maybe some online sports activities. So which will help in the all-round development of the child. So Shalini ma'am, would you want to add something, or, how will extracurricular activities really help the child's growth here, or engagement here? You'll have to put engagement as the key word, I think.
Gaurav, I would not use the word extracurricular activity here, because movement, music, this is a part of early childhood. Children, even when they used to come to school, you do need to have those movement breaks. You do need to have those energizers come in. These children cannot sit at one place for more than 4 to 5 minutes. And that's the need of the hour, even virtually. It's not that the children, a lot of time initially the teachers thought, if I do a little movement break online, these children will run away and I have no way to get them back, because they are, virtual, they are at a distance. But these things work. Having those energizers, like maybe a little dance step or a little movement break every few minutes, is what keeps the child hooked to what your discussions, your conversations, everything. So these I would say, these physical activities where the child gets up, it could be a little shake, it could be using a musical instrument, it could be singing a rhyme together, or doing a little breathing exercise, what you call yoga, or it could be any, like the games your company did play with the games. But these things are really important for the child's development. A lot of learning can happen through these energizers, through these brain breaks, and what we could call them anything like movement breaks or brain breaks or energizers. But these are a very, very integral part of early childhood learning. Whether they are offline or online, you cannot expect the child to sit and listen to the teacher without moving for 15-20 minutes. There has to be a change in pace, a change in activity. Children need to transit from one thing to another, and children are very good at following routines. And if you have your transitions and all very well aligned, children are able to, and they follow instructions. So this is very important, because the logic and kinesthetically, and that's what is important. So I think as an early childhood educators, that's something we all should be aware of, that these are not extracurricular activities, but these are very, very important. I would, if you can say, the teaching learning materials, or a way to put things across to a child. Children need these movement breaks. Children need these whole body movements to learn. And there are a lot of things which children would learn through these things. It could be teamwork, where one is singing, the second is following or doing things. It could be doing work together. It could be talking about any concept, anything which you want to teach. The child learns through a lot of these movements. So this has to be an integral part and not treated as extracurricular activities, rather be a very important part of the learning process, even when we are holding virtual classes.
Absolutely, ma'am. I think it makes a lot of sense. This has to be a part and parcel and going in together itself, and that's how the learning can really happen. While we are doing the virtual learning, one very important factor that we have from the student teacher, now there is a parent involvement as well, which is now added on here. So in this circle of the parents' involvement has increased drastically. So what should a parent do? There are a few parents also who've joined who are listening to this panel. So they would also want to understand how can they make the most of this virtual learning. So like Kanisam had earlier pointed out, so I would just get the discussion to her of what kind of involvement is required out of the parents in this virtual learning.
So rightly said, Gaurav, there is definitely a lot of increase in the partnership of the parent today that we see. However, as other panelists are mentioning that there's a lot of learning happens at home, and the core focus, and we talk about the whole the overall development, the holistic development, and we're talking about the child. See, as experts, as educators, as as child development experts that we talk, we give inputs, we give suggestions, we guide the child maybe for that 1.5 2 hours of max of the screen time. We involve with the child, we observe the child, but however this has to be continued or led by the parent at home, because it doesn't stop in that 1.5 hour or a 2 hour of a cycle, and the Sekithike learning stops here and it doesn't continue, because the parent has to take it on from there. Because irrespective if it was a campus on-site school or an online school, yet there were a lot of follow-up activities that the parent had to do it. And in the early years especially, there is a continuous development, and the pace of development is very fast, very quick. A child who's not able to do a activity today, or maybe not able to display a skill today, you could just magically see a child doing it maybe in a matter of day, 2 days, and 3 days. So this happens totally in collaboration with the expert, who's the teacher here, and the parent. This was happening before. This continues to happen right now also. Only difference that we see today is that there is more of awareness which is coming in the parents, that yes, there is a lot of effort which went from the teacher. This is my opportunity to step up and lead it further. We suggest that the parents do stay connected with the teacher, like how teacher always puts in an effort to stay connected with the child and the parent to understand the child. Similarly, it's very important for the parent also to connect with the teacher, to just probably just take little guidance. And I'll give you a simple example. A lot of parents think if my child learns the letters A to Z and is able to identify pictures of A, B, and C, so it's sorted. My child knows the alphabet. But if a child is not able to read a word, maybe the phonological approach, or maybe the sound of the word, there's a disconnect, and the parent doesn't really not all parents are trained on phonics, not all parents are experts in teaching certain logical concepts. So that's where it becomes critical that the parent and the teacher partners together to see the right technique, understand the right technique of teaching a concept, or maybe teaching a certain or maybe ensuring that the child develops a certain skill. So there are a lot of effort by the teachers that we see today, that they shoot out small expert videos, or videos to technique certain concepts to the child, maybe certain activities to the child. And these are I'm sure a lot of schools today, I mean each one of us who are here have their respective ERP systems, have their WhatsApp groups, have their school groups through which such material is sent out to the parent, so that which guides them to to reflect back if they're moving in the right direction. So please, my suggestion to the parents would be to to just make maximum utilization of such support which is coming to you, because we all are doing it for the child. Because like everybody was telling that children today are grown-ups tomorrow, so we have to ensure that this generation or these children are growing in the right direction. And here parent partnership becomes really, really very crucial. So the more they connect with the teacher, with the school, with the experts, the better it is for them as adults, as parents, caregivers, to understand whether my child is learning it right, developing it right, and if there is a gap, I ensure, I take help and support, so that we progress in a positive direction.
I think the parent here also has to stay connected with the school, along with the it's not just the teacher's responsibility to stay connected, but also the parents' responsibility to stay connected for the child's growth, which is very
Absolutely.
important.
Absolutely.
Here, along with this, but there is one major point which we are burning into. So we have another question, after which we can have FAQ. So if anyone has questions, you can start writing down in the chat box. For another 5 minutes, we have this going on. After that, we'll take some questions as well. But from a parent's point, there is a sense of burn that we are feeling all around, where everyone is just tired of, like we said earlier, there are so many things going otherwise other than the schooling for the parent. It might be someone has got ill, or there are some other work issues, or there's no help, and there's a lot of other things that have happened with the kids now. So learning has taken a back seat. From a parent's standpoint, how can they also, they require help for this as well. So how can they avoid a burnout? And what can they do for this? So Shalini ma'am, can you just add on something what can a parent do from a parent standpoint? From a parent
this year, actually, suddenly, especially one whole year, and all of us were looking for coming back to schools and having a breather. The offices had started opening. And again, there was a setback in terms of, and this wave hit us really bad. All of us suddenly are feeling, we are helpless, where, there's a choice. Should I look after somebody who's ailing? Should I complete my office work? Now I have a COVID case in my house, so I don't have any help in my house. My building has been sealed. A lot of things. All of us at some part have said enough now, I need to move out. We haven't moved out of the house. I haven't taken a vacation for so long. I've been working from home. I've been home, but now I want to go out. So it looked very nice that work from home culture is nice. Even as teachers, we want to go back to school. We want to see the children. We want to interact with them personally. And that's where all of us are facing that burnout, that when will things reopen? How would I do? And especially in the last month, when we started the new academic year, there have been cases where all of us, like teachers, the school on leave because they have somebody, either they are ill or their family members are not well. The parents, the children cannot come online because the parents are tending to somebody unwell in the house or running for medication, feeding, things like that. It is a case and where we feel it's not ending. We all have to look forward, and as schools and as parents, we have to work together. We have to just take a breather, maybe just come online and have fun. Just enjoy so that, I can let that stress out which I have. And remember, as parents, if we are anxious, our children can have that, they sense the body language. They may not be able to say it, but they sense that, okay, things are not fine. And that anxiety is there in the children also. They are scared because we are listening to the news. We are hearing about so many things, hospital beds not available, oxygen not available, maybe running from pillar to post for friends or our family members. And I can easily say that every house has gone through that, maybe not for themselves, but someone close by, where you are looking out for medicines or things like that, getting a virtual doctor's appointment and things like that. So we have to gather ourselves and come together. And now when things are flattening and when we are becoming, stable, the first thing we should look back together when we come back is not what my child should learn, but just to come and have fun. Just to come and let go of that stress. So when you come back, enjoy with the parent. Let the parent join in the class. Let's all have fun together. Let's all think, okay, things are becoming normal before we move to a little more focused learning. And that's the need of the hour. We together can help each other. The teachers do need that. The parents do need that. The children do need that. We all have to support each other and have fun online when we come back and enjoy before we move into, serious discussion, what we may say at a later stage. But this is the time when we South is all set to start the school academic year in June. and not is maybe giving a small break or having their camps or whatever. But wherever we are having these online schooling, we need to look into the matter that when the parents are coming back, they may have had a lot of anxiety and stress in the past few weeks or last few weeks, and we need to work together. We need to look at the emotional well-being of the child, of ourselves, of parents. And I don't deny the fact saying that the teacher should be taking care of herself, her emotional well-being. Because if I am settled, I am happy, that same vibrancy will go forward to the students and teachers. So emotional well-being of all the stakeholders is very, very important. And that needs to be taken care of by stress busters, by having just, simple coming and enjoying and having those de-stressing sessions before we move forward and move into it. And that's what I would say.
So I think having fun is having fun with kids really helps us the burnout altogether. So the kids also will start looking forward for the classes. That
also
is very
understanding.
important.
Yeah. Either ways, if a teacher is some way maybe not up to the mark, or if the parent has some problem, we need to understand that parent may have a problem back at home. So it's not always complaining, but understanding and working together. And it has to be a two-way communication. It could happen at the child's home, it could happen at the teacher's home. And if that two-way communication is open, that channel is open where we understand each other, that not every day could be a sunny day. And there could be some problems back at home. It could be someone unwell. It could be bandwidth issues. It could be, there's no help for me for past few days and I'm really fagged out. All these things have to be taken into consideration, and we need to work together. We have to support each other, because ultimately the parent and the school or the teacher are working for one cause. That's your child.
Right.
The whole thing is what we do for the children, not for the teacher, not for the parent. Ultimately, we all, I would say everybody here on the panel would agree to the cause that whatever we are doing right now is the center is the child. And that's what both of us, both the stakeholders should work together, is the benefit of the child. And we need to support each other in this situation.
Absolutely. Thank you, ma'am. Kaushik sir, I request you to make your question a little smaller so that we're able to ask that. In the meanwhile, we are taking the next question which has come up. Anyone else who wants any question can put it in the chat box. So this question is that my kid is not sitting in online classes. So I started to teach what I know, and the books were issued through school. So what can I do for it? So I think kids are not sitting in front of the online classes, which is a major issue that a lot of parents are also facing. So if one of the panelists take up this question and answer this.
I would say, it is something like the parents should understand when they send the child to school, even if it's offline, the child takes some time to settle into the school. There's a little crying, the child would not like to sit in the class, the child is always in the park or the garden or the outdoor area, and then slowly the child moves in the class. Children, when they join online schooling, is very important that parents should give that much of time for the child to settle and understand the routine. And also the class has to be engaging. It has to be both ways. If you see this 20-minute class of Go Alpha or what Santosh did, the children were hooked. They were in front of the screen. So and a support from the parent. When the parent creates a corner which is quiet, there's no background noise, there's no background movement, the child is hooked to the screen and is able to kind of look at the teacher and talk to it. But if the laptop is kept in the center of an area where there is movement, the mother is working and the child can see the mother or somebody walking past, the child is going to get distracted. So from the parent's side, the parent needs to be present initially and help the child settle down, and do not get hassled if the child does not sit for the entire 40 minutes or whatever time the class is. But even if the child is coming on and off, it's okay. If the child is within the hearing distance of the screen, it's fine. The child is still listening. And the children will come back to the screen when they find the teacher calling them, and they may go away and listen. But slowly, I feel they sit and give them some time to settle the way you give them time when they go to the school for the first time, when they enter the school. It does take the child to settle into a new routine. It's new. And as they move forward, once they know the children, once they understand. they do that.
Here, I would like to
Yes,
also
sorry,
add
the parents
something.
are-
I also feel that the parents should be very positive about this class. Rather than they should not discuss about the class in front of the child, because the child, he picks on that. This class is so boring. Nothing happened. What did you learn? The teacher did nothing. So I would request, the parents to, do all that talk with the teacher, post the class when the child is not there, because the child is going to, grapple onto that. So try to leave that part and enjoy the class with the child. Make the child feel very responsible, that, oh wow, you're having fun, you've learned something. It's nice. So be positive on that. That's a parent's contribution, I feel, is a must. Not
Sometimes-
discuss it, in
I
a
think
very
energy
casual
in
way,
putting energy in saying advice.
And sometimes
really
recording the
helps.
child,
Sir, you-
putting the child on spot.
Yeah.
Like if somebody else is answering, you also answer.
Yeah.
As parents, if your child doesn't answer or doesn't
It's
do
okay.
something, it's fine. It's okay. Let the child be. After a few days, the child will start. But when you put the child on spot, the child is very conscious. And the next time the child would not want to go online. Thinking that I may be put in spot again. I'll take
Right.
his or her own time to answer to that doesn't mean your child is not learning, your child is not good. It's
They are
absolutely
going to sponge everything, They will be
Absolutely.
just like sponges.
absolutely. Yeah, sure.
Yes. And yes. So
Yeah.
Rathore sir, you also
Yeah,
had a
Yeah,
point to add on
I
here.
would like to add something. See, this is the joint effort of educator and the parent both. See, what we did in our system, initially itself in the month of maybe April, we all were struggling to setting about everything last year. But gradually, maybe in the month of May, I asked all of my teachers to ask the parent. I myself took many sessions of the parents to ask them to set up a small corner in their house, maybe a table or any small corner, and decorate it like a school classroom. Put child's activity material or books and toys and whatever the material attract the child. Ask the child, this is your classroom now. We need young children, 2 साल 3 साल के बच्चों को हमें डील करना है, उनको हम लेक्चर देके नहीं पढ़ा सकते. We need to create an environment. This is very important. What many of the parents don't understand. Maybe because of many reasons. हो सकता है कि they don't have that kind of resources, they don't have that much of space in their house, they are residing in small houses. But I tell you, in my case, this worked very well. And I tell you, I have 2x number of students this year, whatever we had last year. Because this system worked very well and all the parents appreciated the child who were not, sitting in front of the screen, because he is not sitting in front of the screen only. He has all the things what he was seeing in their school. And we are not going, my teacher never asked the child to learn something, because they are going to have their, friends meet on the screen. हमेशा टीचर जब क्लास शुरू करती है तो यही बोलती है कि बच्चों, now your friends are on the screen, now you can talk to each other. So just starting a lecture, whenever the child switch on the screen and lecture will be started, it will not help out to help the child to concentrate on the screen. बच्चों की पहले हमें एक क्यूरियोसिटी डेवलप करनी पड़ेगी, उनका हमें एक इंटरेस्ट क्रिएट करना होगा. बच्चों को ये लगना चाहिए कि मैं अपने दोस्तों के साथ जो क्लास में मिलते थे, मुझे यहाँ नए भी हैं, उनके साथ अपने फ्रेंड्स के साथ मैं यहाँ बातें कर रहा हूँ, एंजॉय कर रहा हूँ. Then the teaching will start. So this is the lectures on the screen will never help in this particular age group, or maybe in the primary classes also. This is my.
It's very important, having the right kind of environment. Very, very well said. Very well said, Rathore sir. So with this, I think if there are any questions, I request them to put it on the chat now. We'll just
Gaurav, I want to answer one question. What I have seen, some Colonel Kaushik asked from Pune. He's running some preschool.
Yeah, even
so
I
he's
saw
asking
that about the infant.
आपके लिए है आरती में, but आप ही आंसर कीजिए. But मैं, because I am into franchising system, so I just wanted to answer, because the kind of problem he is facing, many of my partners are also facing. See, this is if anybody is running a preschool for more than 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, 13 years, then this is your relationship with the parents. This is your standing in your market, in your locality. If that market doesn't respond after 10 years also, it means you are lacking somewhere in your work, in creating an environment for the children where parent can believe this is the place, whether it is online or offline, my child should go there. My child should be taught by this school only. अगर 13 साल स्कूल चलाने के बाद, 10 साल स्कूल चलाने के बाद, 5 साल स्कूल चलाने के बाद, अगर आपकी अपनी लोकेलिटी में एक पैंडेमिक आने की वजह से, आई अंडरस्टैंड एनी ऑफ माय ब्रांच in normal situation have 200 students, then in pandemic it was fallen to some below 100 students. But agar wo nahi hai, 100 bhi nahi hai, it means we are not justifying our work in that particular locality. That is the only reason. Yes, there are 3 kind of parents. One, who are affected by whose income and their families are affected by COVID. Yes, उन्होंने अपने बच्चे को विड्रॉ कर लिया. दूसरा, ऐसे पेरेंट जो इम्पोर्टेंस समझते ही नहीं है अर्ली चाइल्डहुड एजुकेशन की. देयर आर लॉट्स मेनी पेरेंट जो कहते हैं ये तो प्री स्कूल एजुकेशन इज अ फैंसी काइंड ऑफ थिंग, ठीक है भेज दो तो ठीक है, नहीं भेजोगे तब क्या फर्क पड़ता है, घर पे सिखा लेंगे. वो अलग एक कैटेगरी है. लेकिन देयर आर, आई थिंक टुडे more than 70% parents are who understand the importance of early childhood education. They definitely send their children to any center, whether it is offline or online. It depends on the situation, but that those parents will enroll their children to the place where they believe, जहां उनको पता है कि अगर ये ऑनलाइन भी करेंगे तो उतनी सीरियसनेस के साथ करेंगे जितना कि फिजिकल स्कूलिंग कर रहे थे. They will keep my child in the center of their everything. They are not doing this for making the money. So this kind of your reputation should be there in your locality, then only you will survive. Otherwise, अगर आपको 50 साल भी होंगे किसी भी लोकेलिटी पे स्कूल चलाते हुए, तो यही सिचुएशन फेस करनी पड़ेगी. क्योंकि ये अभी पैंडेमिक है, कभी राइट्स होंगे, कभी कुछ होगा. दिल्ली में कभी पॉल्यूशन की वजह से स्कूल बंद होते हैं, कभी राइट्स की वजह से स्कूल बंद होते हैं, कभी बहुत सारे सिचुएशन होते हैं हमारे देश में. तो ये सिचुएशन आती रहेंगी, जाती रहेंगी. अभी बड़ा प्रॉब्लम आई है, लेकिन आपकी अपने काम की वजह से आपकी मार्केट में इतना नाम होना चाहिए कि अगर ऑनलाइन भी जाना है तो फलां स्कूल में जाना है. देन ओनली यू विल अट्रैक्ट दो 70% ऑफ द चिल्ड्रन. गौरव,
I would like to address that question जो Colonel Kaushik has put up about the infant education. Like we all know, I think all of us know very well that whatever a child learns is from 0 to 5 years. जो भी habit formation होनी होती है, जो भी कुछ learn करना होता है, is between this time, So this age group has to be really taken care of. It cannot be, a very, you could say, casual approach towards it. And unfortunately, in most of the homes, the infant is kind of, just kept aside, either just cajoled around, fed, loved, or maybe be just taken around, and that's about it. But the child is learning everywhere. So with IPSA, with our online program that we do, we also have a little bit of a schedule for the parents who are parents to an infant, wherein we kind of guide the parents. And I wish that the parents would take it up more seriously. What I feel is that the parents are not taking up the early education seriously. आप इसको एजुकेशन कहो, लर्निंग कहो, एक्सपीरियंशियल लर्निंग कहो, whatever it is, but it is a very serious, you could say, learning stage that is there. Initially, there were many people in the homes. There used to be, your grandmothers and nani, chachi, जो भी घर में है. But now, like Colonel Kaushik has said, that there are very few people in the homes, and parents are working. They have their own, you could say, offices to attend to from home. So the child care or the early education has taken a back seat. They forget that, that little baby, that little infant is ready for learning. Every little thing is learning for him, every little thing. So I think as educationists, it is our duty, to make the parents aware of this. That every little thing that you do, every little routine that you set up, every little work cycle that you set up has to be done very systematically for the child to follow. Otherwise, it's of going to be no use. हम बच्चे के साथ बात ही नहीं करते. There are too many adults around. See, in a home, there are too many adults. So the child is not even allowed to speak at times. The fill in the blanks is done by all the adults. You want water? What are you going to drink? You will drink hot water, cold water. Everything is filled up, So the child is not speaking as well. So we really need to look into the infant education as well. That really needs to be taken care of. And it is something that has to be done. It's a constant thing. It's very consistent and constant. It cannot be just, कि आज मेरा मूड अच्छा है तो मैंने बच्चे को ये सिखा दिया. Tomorrow I'm not feeling too good. I don't have something to teach, so I will not do. So it has to be constant. It has to be consistent. And the child is a little individual in its right, has to be given that care and the learnings.
I like to add here, like what we do for infant education at Maplebare, and what we say is it's infant education. When we talk about infants and toddlers, it's the environment which we have to provide all the time. Environment to be able to explore, and there's a lot of self-learning happening by the child. If I give that, if at Maplebare, like we guide the parents with kind of what kind of corners or environment or things you could just leave it, and there are open-ended things where the child would just explore and figure out things on their own, and it's all easily available materials. How would you connect with the child? Like, okay, while bathing, it's not always talking or having a conversation, but maybe singing rhymes to the child. That goes a long way in a vocabulary development. I read books to the child. The child may not understand, or we feel 6 months or a 1-year-old or a 2-year-old is too young to be read to. But reading books is one of the very important things for literacy. What kind of materials I can just leave it, safely on the floor for the child to explore. You don't always have to be there. An empty carton could be a very good teaching aid for a child. The child going inside, emptying it, coming out, figuring out how the things work, and then you add on while talking. So we help the parents also understand how do you talk, or what is the thing to have a open-ended conversation with the child. What Aarti said, that it's not always you giving the words, but also helping the child express with whatever vocabulary he or she has. It could be words, it could be phrases, but instead of telling, we help the parent understand what is asking. So you're not always telling the child, but you're very often asking the child questions. So it sets the child in that little thinking mode. The child may or may not answer. Not always doing the things for the child, but giving them that freedom to explore. So it's the process which is more important. So it could be as simple as, putting one plate on top of the other, or stacking tumbler, these katoris. But that's fine. That's how your eye-hand coordination will. Absolutely. So I'm not picking and stacking things, but I am letting the child kind of do those things. So that's very, very important in terms of how there's a power cut in my house. So that's the thing. But that's technology, yes. I guess. So that's what we guide the parents at Maplebare with, frequent meetings with the teacher, where the child may not sit, but how do you provide that environment throughout the day without you being always present, but your child still learning because you've created that little thing.
Absolutely.
And guiding them accordingly.
Amazing. Fenice ma'am, would you want to add something to this? Or, now I think we have exceeded the time of our discussion. So maybe one closing round of, or one closing line by them, one closing address by everyone. So maybe we start with Fenice ma'am.
So Gaurav, addressing to what all three of the speakers were talking about. Surprisingly, because at FirstCry we also have parenting as one of the offering to the entire FirstCry ecosystem. Seen a huge steep in parents approaching us, because today we have a lot of curious parents who reach out to, because they have not been sending to school, and they've been curious. They have been looking for guidance. They've been looking for experts to help them do the homeschooling at home. So it's actually a very very positive and a very good sign that today there is awareness coming among parents. In the parents, there is the data at First Try Parenting vertical speaks a lot about it, because in the last 7-8 months we have seen so many parents reaching out, asking for guidance on different platforms. So I think eventually this is just a phase that we all are facing, and eventually this will phase out. And it is definitely catching up with a lot of parents that yes, I understand the fact that the 0 to 8 years is very, very important. And and that's really a good sign. As just not early educators, but also as adults and caregivers, that we want the entire parents, be the father, the mother, all the entire ecosystem around the child, understand this fact. And it's beautiful that we see this awareness spreading very fast. And that's one beautiful thing which happened in the last 7-8 months, is this is spreading very parents, because they got involved in the parent in the child's learning and education. They really understand and realize this fact, that how important their role is also in this. So that would be my closing statement to add to even what Ms. Colonel was asking about. Parents don't understand, they are understanding now. So I think it will take a little more time, but there is awareness spreading very fast.
Right. So we can have Aarti ma'am do the closing from her side.
So we are done with the discussion. Any more questions from the parents or something? No.
No, that's why we just the closing now, because I think we have exceeded.
Okay. It was really nice being on the panel. It was really nice being one of the panelists, and I'm glad that we all, the educators came together, and we shared our thoughts, which were quite similar. We had our own way of dealing with this pandemic and the online learning, and I hope this new normal doesn't stay. We go back to our normal, and we want the children to come to our centers. We want the children, the pattering of it, the chattering and all that we want. Looking forward to that.
Yes. Rathore sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Aarti. Rathore sir.
I'm agreed with Aarti ma'am. New normal is nothing, and it will not stay for long. But I believe for people like everybody sitting on the panel, a separate vertical is started, because there would be many parents who will be very conscious about their child's health and safety for maybe few years now, maybe 2024 or 25. What rumors are coming out? है ना, 25. So जब तक ये कोविड का पूरा उनको विश्वास नहीं होता, और till the time the children are not vaccinated, because we are vaccinated, I am vaccinated, maybe Aarti ma'am would be vaccinated. So, now the teacher would be vaccinated, but children are not vaccinated. So we would be safe, but we could be a carrier. So till the time, many of the parents would not be ready to send their children physically to the schools, maybe a year or two. So this physical schooling may start maybe in another 3 months or 4 months or 5 months time, because the kind of flattening of the curve is going on, and the kind of drop in the positivity rate and situation is improving like anything. So I think maybe in another 3 months or time, in many of the states, not across the country, in several states, the school will be allowed to reopen. But a new vertical, which is a hybrid learning, I can say, not purely online, maybe some online and maybe a day or two in the school, will again continue for maybe for a year or two. So I think we all, as a society, as educator, as parent, need to understand the situation, and we need to work on the learning of the child, because this is the year, this is the till the age of 6, this is the most important and critical time of anybody's life. If anything is missing in this year in the learning, it will not be covered in any other stage of the life. So parents should understand, we as educators should create an environment and give the opportunity to the parent, so that they can opt out of the best for their children.
Yes, I think this time will not come back, especially for the kids. On that note, Shalini ma'am, would you want to add some closing to this?
I totally agree with the panelists, and yes, the early childhood years are very, very important. And I hope the parents understand that this is a very crucial time and this would not come back. The government also recognizes it in the new education policy. And do not think that this is something, oh, if the child doesn't go to school, it's not, joining an online classes or going to school, but it's basically the overall foundation or the whole foundation of the child which is being laid. So it's very important to pay attention to this, to provide the right kind of environment and support each other. The benefit is your child. The future of your child rests on what the child learns in these few years. So let's not kind of let it go unnoticed, but be aware of the environment. And I'm sure parents are educated enough to know the importance of early childhood. The world is talking about it, and we all together, and all of us in this bandwidth, the panelists here, are truly thinking about the children. It's not that we are thinking about ourselves, but we want to really help the parent, want to really help the child learn, because they are our future citizens. They are the future of our country, and we cannot play with their future. And that's what I request all the educators, the parents together. Let's create an environment in whatever possible way and give them a strong foundation to lead the country. They are the tomorrow of our own country.
Absolutely, ma'am. So thanks a lot, everyone, for joining in for this panel discussion. I'm truly grateful from Go Alpha's end for everyone to join this panel. And we hope everyone stays connected. We hope everyone stays healthy now, and everyone remains all well, because health is wealth is now come to, it's very important now. So on that note, let's stay connected, and thank you everyone for joining in.
Thank you so much,
Gaurav.
Thank
you so much, Gaurav, for conducting.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Gaurav.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.